And that's one of the things we have to discuss. We have to discuss the reality against the political program and what is the impact of that likely to be for our country going forward. And the reality is that our country has very limited amounts of land. And unless those lands are properly managed and husbanded, to use another provocative word, husbanded for the benefit of the country, and not just the people who are here today, today's voters or today's viewers, but husbanded for the future generations who are not here today, we are facing a situation where generations in the future may look back at our actions today with regret and say, well, what were they thinking? But we need to compare where we are as a country with international norms. Let me give an illustration of that. To give two examples. In the United States, the percentage of owner occupation is recorded at between 66 and 67%. In the United Kingdom, it's between about 67 and 68%. When we started our housing policy, when we had a Vision 2020 committee with Mr. Manning, we started our housing policy back in 2000 going into 2002. The national owner occupation percentage in Trinidad and Tobago was already 70%. We are now at 76%. We are already comfortably, by a factor of at least 10% in excess of the figures achieved by countries that are far wealthier than us, and more to the point, countries to whose standards we aspire. The point I'm making is that having arrived at 76%, attempts to go beyond 76%, to get more than 76% of the people in this country to own their own homes, will have to be driven by a series of serious and heavy subsidies that will in fact increase the cost of the countries. We don't have any clear idea what are the numbers involved. And it might seem like a basic question, but it's important. When the Prime Minister announced the revamped land for the landless at that same speech 3 months ago, when she spoke about the $100 houses with HDC, and this program is not about that. But when the Prime Minister spoke about that, what we could remember is the remark was that there were 30,000 persons to be regularized with what they call certificates of comfort under the program. The next morning, Minister Seamungle was telling us the figure was really 60,000. If you go onto the LSA's website now, the Land Settlement Agency's website now, they say the figure is 250,000. So which is the correct figure? Because the figures, just the basic figures are uncertain. The PM says 30. The minister says 60, the website of the agency doing the exercise says 250. Are we counting human beings? Are we counting households? The lack of clarity is fueling the lack of trust and the suspicion around the issue. And unless we have clarity around fundamentals, we can't really be discussing a policy that is good and we should just go along. We need to be calling an alert at this point, and that's what I'm here for this morning.
You know, I look at the figures as well. It's at an upper limit of 8,000 on a family's monthly income, but that has now been increased to 30,000. And a family with a monthly income of 30,000 can readily afford to buy a home with a private mortgage financing. People who are going to tell you, well, you know, they're just making it a little easier for us.
Well, I don't accept that. I don't accept that. The fact of the matter is, Hema, we need to be really robust on this point. $30,000 a month has two contradictions in it. First of all, the $8,000 a month, the original limit on the Land Settlement Agency of $8,000 a month to $10,000 a month, had a relationship with the HDC. The HDC's limit was $25,000 a month for the family income. And there's a relationship one can understand between land being $8,000 and housing being $25,000. What we are now contemplating, with no attempt to rationalize it, or any attempt at logic, is that in fact a house by the HDC is $25,000, but the land by the land for the landless is $30,000. It makes no sense. Second point, $30,000 a month. And there are people listening who know this. $30,000 a month comfortably qualifies someone for a mortgage in excess of $1.6 million. So what exactly are we talking about? And that is why I've labeled it land for everybody. It's not as it was intended to be. That program was intended to provide things like squatter regularization, squatter containment, and some degree of affordable service lots for the neediest people in the society. Point, from what I could remember, the national average of household income was about $10,000. So that, in a way, that corresponds to the original target the original limit of $8,000 to $10,000 a month. But when you triple it, when you say that in fact you've increased the limit of the neediest program to 3 times the national average, the national average being $10,000 a month is the household income. When you've tripled it to $30,000, you are really embarking on a mission where you're taking the program away from its roots, away from its intentions, and the chances are if you go away from your roots and you go away from your intentions, you're going to miss your target, and the target ought to be land for the neediest. We think about the poorest people in society. Well, another thing I want to tell you and I want to tell viewers is that Clause 2 of the new law that was passed in Parliament last Wednesday on the 3rd of June, so the lower house already passed it, actually redefines who is a landless person. The original definition of landless in Act number 25 of 98, that's the original squatter regularization law. The original definition of landless said that a landless person was a person classified as disadvantaged by the Ministry of Social Development, and he went on to make other remarks about that person couldn't own any other land and so on and so on. The new definition of landless eliminates any mention of the word disadvantage. So let's put the parts together. We have a bunch of numbers that don't correspond, the highest of which is 250,000. We have an income limit that has increased from 10,000 to 30,000. And we have a definition of landless that now, by law, removes any mention of disadvantage. And when you put those ingredients together on the table, that's the reason why it has been relabeled land for everybody and representing a virtual land grab, because we are dealing with a scenario in which any number could play. How does it fit in the land use policy in our country? We don't have a national land use plan.
What is the status of the land use policy? Because they have been doing that. There's a spatial development plan that has also been either making under the Ministry of Sustainable Development.
But it's not been completed or approved as yet. The last one that was approved in the country, and this is just a reflection of how far behind the curve we are, was 1984. We have not, and a lot of work has gone into it. There's a planning and facilitation of development bill, a new town and country planning bill, to put it colloquially, has been passed the end of last year, around August of last year, was passed in Parliament. That now has to be operationalized by creating a new land use plan. That hasn't happened yet, and now we're dealing with this. So we're at a critical crossroads. Who is this plan intended to benefit? And in fact, what will be the impact on our country, its present and its prospects?
I want to ask about the particular lands that are being targeted as part of this program.
Yes.
Are we talking about Caroni lands? Are we talking about where are the lands?
Well, this is the other interesting thing. The law that is now in Parliament is 24 pages long. And I could tell you that 20 of those pages is a phenomenal list of areas. As I said in this article, every area in Trinidad and Tobago, from Charlottesville to Lucero, is listed. So in fact, within the law, the phrase is a designated area, and if your land falls in a designated area, you could qualify to apply under the new proposals. And in fact, every area of the district in Trinidad and Tobago is listed. So in fact, although the philosophy of the Land Settlement Agency is squatter containment and squatter regularization, we have a scenario where in fact applicants could emerge from every corner of our country. And this is the reason, when you put that legal list of things together with the 250,000 on the LSA's website, we are facing a scenario where a year or two from now, another person, not necessarily Minister Simongal, another person could sit right here and tell you, yes, Hema, we gave out 200,000 certificates of comfort. It was there. We said 250, we gave out 200.
And we still don't know how many in terms of the lots, and we still don't know the person that we're dealing with in terms of the numbers, because the data is not available.
Exactly. And the other point I wish to make is that what this is revealing is the crying need for a proper database of property ownership in the country, so that we can track what is happening with our assets. Our assets don't only include the money that we often talk about on this program, about money for this project or that project and contracts and that kind of thing. The assets of the country also include our physical assets, like our land, our state land, and that is what much of the wealth in the country is built on that. So we need to be cognizant of that and create and run a proper database, an open database, a searchable database, so that we can see who owns what and actually track down the numbers in the system.
Afra, you know, those who really are intended to be the beneficiaries of this program, looking at this show this morning, will listen to what you're saying, put this program on hold, let's rethink it. And they're going to say, Afra, Raymond, why are you tampering with a policy that is intended to benefit me? Speak to that in your closing comments, because you hear the term land for the land.
I understand.
The Prime Minister did say, I'm giving an HTC house for $100.
I understand.
This is really for a set of people that need it most.
I am very very much in support, I've always been in support of programs that are redistributive, that will in fact provide a way for the hard that has never been told the poorer person in society. That has always been my position. The problem with what is before us now in this new Land for the Landless program is that it has been redefined so that a lot of people who are not from the neediest class are going to qualify as beneficiaries, and they are going to get the benefits for themselves. And once again, the neediest class in society is very likely to find themselves sidelined. And that is the reason why it's in our collective interest, and particularly in the interest of the neediest people, to have this program redefined so that the benefits are directed in their interest.